how did the Catholic Church started after the death of Jesus? And where did it really starts? Is it in Jerusalem or in Rome? Good morning, mga kaliwanag. Welcome to Renz Garcel channel. Isang mapagpalang araw po sa ating lahat. It's a blessed day for each one of us. Today we have a very nice and very informative topic that we are going to share with you. I hope that you will learn something and you will be enlightened. How did the Catholic Church survive in our present times? So for today, I'm going to share with you a short history and a summary of the history of the Catholic Church. So please kindly finish till the end this short video so that you will learn and be informed regarding the short history of our church. Good morning again and welcome to Renz Garcel channel, Liwanag episodes. Jesus Christ founded His church in Jerusalem and not exactly in Rome. The only church that existed in Jerusalem during those days are the Jewish churches or the Jewish temples. Since the early days of Christianity in the Catholic Church, it could be stated that the simple history of the Catholic Church began in the upper room during the Last Supper 2,000 years ago. About 120 persons were gathered there, and the church described to be the society that Jesus founded. In fact, the beginning or the birth of the church is called the Pentecost. The city of Jerusalem, which is located in Israel, is considered as a holy land for the Abrahamic religions among the Jewish, Muslims, and Christians. However, it is also one of the most frequently invaded city in the world and was controlled by several empires. The Catholic Church had started its journey in Jerusalem, not exactly in Rome, prior to its reestablishment in that great city of Rome. It was God's divine plan to transfer the church headquarter from Jerusalem to Rome. For what reason? In order to protect it from any aggressors and conquerors during that time. Because as we know, Jerusalem was destroyed by Emperor Titus on the year 70 AD. Christ had already predicted the desolation of Jerusalem in Luke 21:20. Thus, he commanded Paul to go to Rome. What happened during the pagan Roman Empire? So let us focus now our topic on the time when there was still paganism in the Roman Empire. Jerusalem was still under the reign of pagan Roman Empire when Christ founded the Catholic Church on 33 AD. The birth of the Catholic Church happened on Pentecost at Cenacle in Jerusalem. It was Apostle Peter who took the leadership of the newly established church, since Christ gave the keys of the kingdom of heaven only to Peter. And also it was to Peter alone that Christ turned over his flocks. Peter was the first to confess that Jesus is the Messiah. Peter was also the one preaching during the Pentecost, and he was also the apostle to perform the first miracle that happens in Acts 3, 6 to 7. At the Council of Jerusalem on 50 AD, Peter, along with James, had presided the issue concerning conflicts between Jew and the Gentile Christians. Peter was put to prison, remember, by King Herod Agrippa. And in fact, according to early Christian writings of Eusebius and Clement of Alexandria, it was Peter who appointed James to be the bishop of Jerusalem. And when James was killed by King Herod, he was succeeded by Simeon. On that same period, Jerusalem was destroyed by Titus when the Jews made a rebellion led by Simon Bar Joria. The second temple of Jerusalem was destroyed to the ground. While many Jews have been killed, Christians had relocated to Pelia in Jordan. And in 135 AD, another Jewish revolt occurred, led by Simon Bar Kokhba, which ended to the brutal massacre of the Jews. That is why Emperor Hadrian renamed the city as Aelia Capitolana and forbids the presence of Christians and Jews in that city. We have to remember that the first followers of Jesus Christ was called Christians in the place called Antioch. And the first Christian martyr, who is Saint Stephen, was also martyred in Antioch under the command of Saul during the time when he was not yet converted. What happened during the Christian Byzantine Empire? In 312 AD, when Constantine the Great had been converted to Christianity, paganism had started declining until it was banned by Emperor Theodosius in 381 AD. The Edict of Milan was also signed, which gave freedom for Catholic Christians. And in fact, during the time, Queen Helena, the Christian mother of Constantine, had made its first pilgrimage to Jerusalem in 326 AD. And the queen met with the Catholic bishop in Jerusalem, Macarius. And miraculously, she found the true cross of Christ in Calvary. In this period, several churches had been built in Jerusalem, such as the Church of the Holy Sepulchre, the Church of the Holy Zion, and in 386 AD, Saint Jerome had started working the Latin Vulgate, the first Christian Bible in Jerusalem, as commissioned by Pope Damasus I. What happened after that period? That period after that is called Muslim period, or the period of the Islam conquest. It was in 637 AD, the Byzantine Empire was defeated by Muslim Caliph Omar the Great. Many of Christian churches had been destroyed by this great conqueror, Caliph Omar, by the Muslim invaders. Several attempts made by the Byzantine emperors to take back Jerusalem, but were unsuccessful. It is called the Crusaders. Muslim rulers had stayed in Jerusalem for several centuries until it was taken back by Christian Crusaders. What happened after the Muslim period? It is now called the Christian Crusaders period. It was in the year 1099 which in Jerusalem was again took control by Catholic Christians from Europe when the reigning Muslim ruler were overthrown by the Christian Crusaders. The purpose of the Crusaders is to protect the Christian pilgrims from harm on their way to the Holy Land. It is in this period that the churches that had been destroyed and desecrated by Muslims were repaired. And in the year 1138, the Church of St. Anne was built in Jerusalem. There was no Protestant or non-Catholic cults yet at that time. So no other sects or no cults still existing during that period when churches was emerging in Jerusalem. What happened during the time of the Crusades? During Muslims' recapture in 1187, Jerusalem was taken back by the Muslims under the leadership of Saladin. Some Christian churches were again destroyed. Several attempts had been made to take back Jerusalem by succeeding crusaders, but were all unsuccessful. The Ottoman Empire further reigned the city for around 400 years. In this period, many treaties were signed to let Christians allow to enter pilgrimage in Jerusalem. Then it happens another period. It is called British Mandate period. It is already a modern period. In 1917, the Ottoman Empire was defeated by the British Army in the battle in Jerusalem, which is happening during World War I already. The city was under the British military administration, and at this period, the Catholic Church had started to establish universities and educational institutions in Jerusalem. And it is in Israel's independence in 1948 that during the Arab-Israel War, the city of Jerusalem was divided into two by Jewish and Muslims inhabitants until it was unified as the capital of Israel in 1967. Israel then announced free access to holy sites of all religions. So any religions could enter now Israel during that period. And the Israelite government had started rebuilding the city in 1964 by Pope Paul VI, who visited Jerusalem and met with the Orthodox patriarchs Athenagoras. That led to the unending of the mutual excommunications since the Great Schism on 1054. In December 1993, the State of Israel and the Holy See had formally established a diplomatic relations. That is why in 2000, Pope John Paul II also visited Jerusalem and prayed at the Western Wall, or we call it the Wailing Wall. So the Catholic Church now in the Holy Land in Israel is part of the worldwide Catholic Church, and it is already in full communion with the Holy See in Rome. These Catholic churches and shrines are the most visited pilgrim sites for tourists in the Holy Land. In addition, there are several educational institutions in which became the Center for Biblical and Archaeological Studies. For example, the New Jerusalem Bible had been made by the Catholic biblical scholars in École Biblique at Jerusalem. In conclusion, if the Catholic Church was not founded by Christ, then it would surely not survive as we try to recall in its history. And it would not survive, especially during the persecution in Rome. and in the rest of the world. Since the Catholic Church is the only Christian religion that can trace its origin back to the apostles, we could say that it would be easy for the Catholics to narrate significant events in the history of Christianity, especially in Jerusalem. And for 2,000 years, the Catholic Church had outlasted several oppressive governments and had even built Christian churches or places for worship in the Holy Land. In fact, most of the Christian churches in Jerusalem are from the Catholics. There was no single church that Protestants or non-Catholic cults or cults had been built since the early Christian until the 19th century. So let us remember and take note of that. The Catholic Church had also established several universities and schools for biblical and archaeological research in the Holy Land. This is to deeply understand on what the Bible really wanted to tell us. Catholics need to be there where the Bible was originally written and study their language and culture. So let us remember, unlike the Protestant cults and other religions, they only study the Bible in their own churches and in their own bedrooms, and then interpret it based on their own personal opinions, which eventually resulted to more than 40,000 contradicting sects and cults in our modern times. So, as Catholics and as Christians, we have to be proud that we have still that authority, that historical origin that is originated from the apostles, and we have this lineage from the main origin and founder, which no other than our very own founder, Jesus Christ, and established under the leadership of Saint Peter. So let us remember that our Catholic religion, our Catholic Church started back during the time of Jesus, that originates in Jerusalem, but later on was transferred to Rome and was supported by the early Christian emperors, especially by Constantine. So thank you so much if you're able to understand and learn something with this very short history of the Catholic Church. I did not give so much detail in order for us just to simplify and to understand this very short synthesis and summary about the history of the origin of the Catholic Church and Catholic religion. Thank you so much for watching, and I hope that I give a little knowledge and some enlightening ideas to all of you. Mega love shout out to all our loyal subscribers and silent viewers. I hope that you will continue to support our Renz Garcel channel, and please don't forget to like, share, and subscribe. And don't forget to push the notification bell. I hope that you will continue to follow our next episodes and our next uploads on this channel. Thank you so much, and thank you for all the supportive teams out there who continuously patronize and support our Liwanag episodes. Thank you, and may God bless us all. Good day to everyone.